Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, it was our fault. We made a mistake. Spotter said it was clear. It wasn't clear, and, I didn't want to tear my car up, tear his car up either. I respect everybody, and I demand respect. And, I apologized to the guy when he came over the car, explained to him what happened, and then he took it to another level when he started calling me an idiot and whatever else. And I don't appreciate that. I'm not going to take it. I told him how I felt. I called him out. He didn't show. And so, I'm good with it if he's good with it, but I'm not going to be disrespected by no means.
Yeah, I guess I had a dinner date at Applebee's last night that I didn't find out about until it was too late. It's a shame. Love their riblets and boneless wings, but...
All right, folks, welcome back to Meet Me at Applebees, your number one unrefined motorsports podcast. It's Brian here with Rob and Ashley. We're on a little bit of a week delay. We were expecting to talk to y'all last week, but Mother Nature decided to shit all over everyone's plans for a few days, and here we are to recap you on all that happened in the last week and a half. So, folks, how we doing this week?
Doing pretty good, Brian. Finally got all the microphones thawed out. They were frozen pretty good. We ran the jet dryers over them, and they might not work very well. But we're back, and I'm excited to talk about the Clash for a couple of reasons. Number one, my main man, Ryan Preece, getting that big win, but I'll get to gloat and scream and cry about that in a little bit. How you doing, True Love?
Good. That's a lot of words there that you just threw out.
We had a week off, so I got a lot to get out.
Yep. I'm here. Got my Olympics on mute in the background.
What's on right now?
Men's figure skating, I believe.
Oh. Also known as the ASA Stars Tour race at Five Flags. They're doing a lot of spinning there as well.
Yeah, all right, well,
Yep.
TV.
Off to a great start.
Before we get into recapping all the news and notes and bullshit, so housekeeping. So if you haven't joined our fantasy league yet, you've got a couple days left. We'll cut it off Friday. If you don't enter by Friday,
That's not true. I'll do it up through Saturday.
Fine, True Love, do it. She said
Because I'm the
Saturday.
one that's been dealing with it anyway. So
That is also true.
The hard deadline is green flag at the when the 500 starts. But I'm not trying to get people signed up the last second like that.
No, not on Sunday. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We've capped it to 25 people, and we still have a handful of slots left. So if you haven't entered yet, you got a couple days left to do it. So get off your ass already.
Exactly. $10 buy-in. Just shoot us a message if you want to be a part of it, and True Love can get you hooked up. Again, aside from the cash prize, so we have a couple other little things cooking. That you'll win if you are the champion of our league. And you can go up against me and True Love and Brian and, Garfield's Feet. That's my favorite team name so far. And many others.
That one's going to get topped.
You're going to get a free Corey LaJoy shirt from me if you win.
But yes, send the podcast Instagram a DM, or you can send me a DM. Or if you're somehow listening to this and don't have an Instagram, I've never checked our Gmail, but I can check it one time this week, I guess.
I keep an eye on it.
I don't know what the address is. So.
It's meetmeatapplebees@gmail.com. It's easy enough for all you folks out there.
Yeah.
The other news-keeping note, I don't know, what there was a YouTube issue, Rob?
Yeah, so I didn't realize this. I don't think anyone really listens to our show or views it on YouTube. There's no video element anyway. We just kind of put it out there to have another streaming option for folks who might not have Spotify or Apple Music or whatever the fuck. So I did not realize that the past 8 or 9 episodes were just being uploaded as private. So if you've been trying to listen to us, you have not been able to. So sorry about that. I fixed the issue. That's not going to happen from here on out. And if you do want to listen to us on YouTube, the episodes upload at the same time as every other streaming service now. And for probably the 1 or 2 people who relied on that, real sorry about that. You're probably not listening anymore because you probably think we went
yeah, I was going to say,
so it's kind of a moot point.
Yeah.
But also, that's where we hide the video of the week playlist and all that. So do give our YouTube a visit and some other stuff. There's a couple other playlists on there we've kind of thrown together, I guess. But the video of the week one's the big one. And, of course, the show's up there, too, if you want to listen there and not through another streaming service. So, anyway, on to the show, folks. The Clash.
the Clash. So last time we spoke to everybody, nobody was really anticipating this to go smoothly with the weather reports that were popping up, and it was going to be super cold and snowy and all this shit. And first they pushed it back to Sunday. They were just going to do everything on Sunday and cancel the heats, which are one of the best parts of this whole fucking deal. Mm-hmm. And then they just shit canned that because I can't remember the timeline, but yeah, there ended up being like 6 inches of snow on Saturday anyways, and it wasn't even so much that they couldn't get the track cleaned. It was the roads around the track were not going to be passable. So
there was
they moved everything to Wednesday.
Stranded on the highway Saturday night.
Yeah.
That'll happen on a normal night in North Carolina because those fuckers can't drive, man. I swear. But yeah, they're not built for snow down there, and that's okay. It just sucks when it happens on the weekend of the opening race of the NASCAR Cup Series season.
Yep.
True. But a couple days later, they managed to get everything done in a pretty timely manner. Well, I shouldn't say timely manner. It was actually not at all a timely manner. But they got everything done in one day. So that's what I mean by timely manner.
I think it took less time for Ricky Stenhouse and the boys to get out there with their ice picks and clear the grandstands than it did to run the show.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. So starting that Wednesday, qualifying was fine. The LCQ... that went fine, I believe. And then
that was the best race of the night.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was pretty decent, except for the fact that last lap, Josh Berry was leading, and he had a pretty decent sized lead, so nobody was really expecting him to lose that. But the battle for second, which was the last transfer spot between Corey LaJoie, AJ Allmendinger, and Cindric. They cut away from that going into turn 3, just cut away to show Josh Berry just all by himself. And then AJ Allmendinger did his best to clear everybody out and get the second spot, but did not pull it off. The important thing is Corey LaJoie didn't make the race. So
that move by Allmendinger, I owe him a Best Buy gift card or something for pulling that off. Of course, LaJoie kind of rooted him out of the race. Well, he didn't kind of root him out of the race earlier. He did do that. It's short track racing. You'll have that. And he fell behind both LaJoie and Austin Cindric. They were beating doors and all that. And coming down to the line, AJ just didn't lift and slammed in the back of Austin Cindric. I don't know if his plan was to push Austin to the win and make sure that Corey didn't make it, or move both of them out of the way and ensure that he got in. Either way, it knocked Corey out of the race. So that was great. I stood and hooted and hollered down here in the basement.
Same.
and yeah, thank you, AJ, for the entertainment and for the goodwill. Much appreciated.
Yep.
Poor Gilliland and Stenhouse did all that shoveling, and they didn't even make it to the main.
Yeah, boy, Front Row has not received their lawsuit settlement check yet, have they? They were absolute dog shit. Slow.
Yeah. Before we get to the main event, a couple things I passed right by. So poor goddamn Denny Hamlin.
Jesus.
We all know the last few months he's had, but he showed up to the track, I guess, while he was clearing out some stuff in his mom's house. He fell amidst the rubble of the home and retore whatever ligament in his shoulder, I think it was.
Oh, I hadn't heard that's how he did it. I just knew he had tore.
Yeah, that's how he did it.
Jesus Christ.
So he had surgery on it last year, and he's not going to get the surgery until the off season. So he's going to have to deal with that all year long. So
if he gets the surgery now, he would have to take 3 to 4 months off of racing. So he's not going to do that.
Yeah, he can't do that. He did okay in the race, but it was kind of a clusterfuck. But we'll get to that. And then, one of the few good things Fox has done this year so far, they got rid of the goofy cartoon drivers that they've used the last few years. So just using straight up photos now, which is nice.
Can we call it a good thing if they just fixed an issue that they created on their own?
You kind of have to at this point, because what positive things can you say?
Yeah, that's about it.
Well, they have added Blake McCandless to the pit reporting team, so that was a good pickup. That guy rules. Of course, you know him from the Cars Tour. And, yeah, that's pretty much... I watched most of that race on mute, to be perfectly honest with you.
I
Also,
wish I did.
I don't know if you guys heard poor Todd Gordon flaming out on MRN as a turn reporter. I'm not bringing this up to shit on Todd by any means. He's obviously, his racing pedigree precedes him. He's a great analyst, but I think this is one of the first races he ever did as a turn reporter, and I don't know if it's so much that he really sucks at it, or if it's just that Dave Moody and Alex Hayden are so good that if you're even like mediocre, you sound like they just picked a fan out of the stands to be on the radio, which is what poor Todd sounded like. But hopefully he gets some more reps, and I don't think that's going to be a regular gig for him. And again, anytime he'd pop into analyst mode, he was suddenly great, and then he'd go back to trying to call the race, and poor guy was lost in the fog. But
Well, I mean,
We
to
were
be
all
fair,
lost in
though,
the fog.
that's true.
to be fair, though, it is the shortest track that they run on all year long, so it's pretty tough to be. I feel like it's tough to be a turn reporter in that situation, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah. Anyway, Todd, we're thinking about you. You'll get better. It's okay. We still love you.
Thoughts and prayers.
Also, one of our favorite reporters, Jordan Bianchi, showed up to the race in like a black and white furry jacket that had no sleeves. I don't know what the fuck that was. The vest?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Straight from Winter Ball.
Yeah, pretty sure it was ladies' vest, but I'm not,
The odds
He was
lean
very,
that direction.
he was very proud of himself for that, and that's like the stupidest fucking thing you could wear. He really thinks he's got that shit on when he wears his race outfits, and he does not. All right,
I think
so
that was all the entertainment.
yeah. So moving on to the actual race. So holy shit! So this was 200 laps, and it took over 3 hours, like 3.5 hours to run this thing.
Can't even blame the weather for most of that.
There must have been. I know at one point the count was 133, but I know, after the fact it was over 150 laps under caution that they weren't counted for anything.
Yeah.
There ended up sleet in the middle of the race too, like during the.
It was right at the halfway break.
Yeah, right at the halfway break. Which kind of made things somewhat interesting, I would say, just because then they had to put the wets on and SVG's up front and Connor Zilich got up there and
I can't believe they started it. Like when sleet comes down, like I didn't think these wet weather tires counted for icy conditions. So in my mind, it was like I guess they're writing Ty Gibbs the check. Congratulations, and I would have turned my TV off in disgust. But no, they were out there in about 5 minutes, I think, once they got the wets bolted on. And yeah, when they were running green, it was a hell of a show.
yeah, I mean,
I was very glad I didn't go because there is nowhere to hide at that track if you're a fan. So once that sleet started, you're just sitting in it wet in 32 degrees. So
yeah, it sounds like an absolute nightmare. Let's see. So,
But yeah, SVG was up front for a little while. Carson Hocevar got the lead for a little bit. And
Zilich led some laps.
Zilich was absolutely cruising. I think he put on probably the most impressive show, first time in a Cup car in anger. Well, that's not true, but on an oval, I believe, right? Connor didn't run any ovals last year, right? Can we count Bowman Gray as an oval in the NASCAR sense?
I feel like he ran one oval race last year. I can't remember which, though.
Either way, first time in the new ride, and he really impressed. I thought he was going to move up a little bit further than he did, but creeping in the background, coming up through the field was Berlin, Connecticut's Ryan Preece in the 60, that beautiful Coca-Cola 60.
Well, hold on, before we get to that,
He's just creeping right now. We'll get to it.
He's just still creeping.
Just creeping back there.
the Suarez violence with his former team.
Yeah, he hates Trackhouse, apparently.
That's fair, I guess. But I don't know. Maybe he talked about it on Newsmax. I didn't get to see that clip.
Yeah. Newsmax, of course, is your home for Mexican racing news. So.
Yeah.
Ironically, up is down these days, so fucking knows. But yeah, that was really entertaining to watch.
What is this line about the booth hating each other? Because I don't remember that.
They're just... They just really, you could just tell they hate each other. You can tell that Harvick hates Boyer, and Boyer hates Mike Joy, and Mike Joy doesn't really know where he's at anymore. They're just all very condescending to each other, like. So.
Guess I'll have to listen for that in the 500 next week.
Yeah, especially Boyer is extremely condescending towards Mike Joy. It's hard to listen to.
Well, that's disrespectful.
Yeah.
Well, it's Mike's last year, so let's cut him a little bit of slack.
Is that speculation or is that true?
I thought it was true. I heard that going around.
He did keep saying that everyone had been at the track for 11 days waiting for this race, but it only been like 3.
Well,
so.
Maybe he had been there 11 days, you know, hanging out at Pulliam's Hot Dogs.
Mm-hmm. And he did have a random line where he said, Brad Keselowski must be loving watching this from rehab, and like didn't elaborate what kind of rehab Brad was at. So that was good.
That's killer.
Well, speaking of other people being hated on, Fox hates the fans because with what, like 30 laps to go or something like that, or something
to go.
Yeah, they had to, and granted, the broadcast had been going for 3 hours at this point when it should have ended after 2. They had to cut away to The Masked Singer on Fox, so the race got kicked down to FS2, which I know a lot of people don't have. I mean, it was free on the app, I believe, too, but very confusing for those people that don't have all the other stupid bullshit channels. So that was annoying. I mean, not so much for me, but for a lot of other people. And yeah, I guess we can wrap up the race. As Rob was saying, Ryan Preece, he was fast in practice. He was decent in qualifying, and I wish I put more money on him because I did win some money on him, but not as much as I would have liked. But yeah, towards the end of the race, all of a sudden there he is, and he got his first Cup Series win, albeit not an official race, but still a Cup Series race. Yeah. And in the process of getting out of his car and getting his victory lane speech, 4 fucks were aired on TV.
4 fucks were given.
4 fucks were given. It was very. I loved it. I mean, I've said this before. Yeah. One of my favorite things about watching the short track races is the drivers can say whatever they want. It doesn't really matter. And this is what it felt like.
Yeah.
Ryan dropped a hard fuck right during his interview, which you don't hear very often, and that was great.
No, it was very much. Forgot that he was not on Flow Racing, but maybe he got the memo they were on FS2 and the FCC isn't watching that. So.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. Love it.
But that does lead to our DAR for the week. There was a woman on Twitter, Margaret Brooks, MBCE9.
Boy, she was upset.
She was tweeting at every single person involved with RFK and the broadcast about cleaning up your driver's mouth, and just very upset about swear words and children watching F-bombs on TV. So
my personal favorite was Brad Keselowski tweeting his congratulations, says, "Heck of a race, nice effort, Corey LaJoy." We're not even talking to Ryan Preece. And then Margaret chimes in with, "Clean up your driver's mouth."
Well, LaJoy should clean up his mouth. That mustache looks terrible on him. So
maybe that's what she was referring to.
Yeah. She was also tweeting at Ben Kennedy and I believe Kroger maybe. So
yeah, Dale Tanhart, Jordan Bianchi, RFK Racing, of course. Yeah, Kroger. The driver of your car is using foul language in victory lane like this is 6th grade. But yeah, Margaret, hopefully you get to hear a lot more of that this year, because us New Englanders up here are fucking fired up about Ryan Preece winning. I've been watching this guy for almost 15 years now up here. I think I started going to modified races pretty heavily right around the time of his championship on the modified tour. And when I first started going, I didn't really know who I was pulling for. It was all kind of new to me. Ironically, Corey LaJoy was in that race and finished like 28th. So kind of stuck with me through all these years. But anyway, I remember watching Ryan Preece just toy with Keith Rocco in a Sunoco mod race at the Icebreaker. God, I don't even know what year this was. And moved him out of the way on the last lap, and I was like, that's my fucking guy. And all the way through his path up to the top level in NASCAR, it's been a tough ride for him, I know that, but for the fans too, it's been a little rocky. I feel like anytime he got a sniff of an opportunity, it was at a bad time. And you only get so many of those opportunities until people start blaming you for it. And it kind of looked like maybe after the Stewart-Haas deal that could be it. And I think a lot of people were questioning why Brad and Jack Roush picked up Ryan for the 60 car. And,
those people are fucking stupid.
And they are fucking stupid, Margaret. And I don't know, man. It means a lot to see that. I don't feel much emotion watching these races anymore, especially NASCAR. I've got 3 screens of racing going down here, and I see a lot. And you don't get moments like that very often where you can really tell just how much it means. And I know that means a lot to all the folks up here. And not everyone is a Ryan Preece fan in New England, but I can tell you every single one of us are after watching that. So congrats, Ryan. I'm going to raise my Coors up to you and your whole family. And here's to a few more this year. I think he's going to have an all right year. Hard to say that after just the Clash, but the end of last year was looking pretty stout, and I think that's the kind of head of steam he needs to go into this year. And he's good at Daytona too, so who knows? I will be putting $1 on him for the 500. No question about that.
It was nice to see RFK win the first race back after losing Biffle as well. So
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
And then just a few hours after the race ended, it was covered in snow again. So
yeah, boy, they just got that in. So I guess we could talk about the Clash as a concept. I know our video of the week kind of talks about that. Maybe, Brian, you want to wait till we discuss that to really get into what I'm about to bring up. But I don't know. I enjoyed it. Obviously, it took fucking forever. It was not ideal. I think NASCAR did everything they could to get that in, and I got to give them respect for that. But, again, the broadcast, like, you can't have your network TV, like, primetime broadcast get bumped to FS2. Like, that's just real bad. And I don't know whose fault that is. You know, I don't know who missed a line in the contract when they were signing up with Fox that this would happen. But that's just really unfortunate, especially when we actually got a pretty decent show out of it. If people were still watching, again, it was 4 hours. But I think the thing that was the most disappointing was just how shitty the officiating was.
Yeah, that's true. Because, there was a lot of confusion about tires and fuel because people, obviously there's so many caution laps, that was an issue. But there are also people that during the halfway break didn't fuel their cars up all the way to save weight. And because of all the caution laps, they started running out of gas. And I think it was it Byron first and Hocevar? They ran out first.
Larson ran out too.
Yeah, but then they just brought everybody in and let them fuel up. And then also, too, Carson had put dry tires on that first pit stop, and then when he came back in, they made him put the wets back on.
He rode around in the under caution on slicks for quite a while. And then they penalized Tyler Reddick for doing the same thing, so it was just, there was no clear communication or no clear administration of the rules, depending on who they were working with. I'm not saying that anyone got preferential treatment, but I'm sure it helps when William Byron and Kyle Larson are running out of fuel versus, whoever else. But I don't know. It was real shitty.
The officials were just too cold to care at that point.
Maybe the A squad was down in Daytona already. Who knows? But I hope that's not an omen for what this season's going to be about, because I know there were plenty of officiating issues last year, and they pissed us all off pretty royally. So I would hope that this isn't a vision of things to come.
Well, the only thing I'll say, because I'm going to save it for when we watch the video later, is they need to make this simple again. And we'll get more into that later. That's all I'm going to say. So, with the Clash out of the way now, let's catch up on the news and notes from the last couple weeks. So, probably the biggest and most positive piece of news that came out was the fact that the Roval is no more, at least for now. NASCAR is going, or Charlotte is going back to the Oval for the fall race. I know True Love isn't necessarily happy about that because I know she liked the Roval, but I think a lot of other people are excited about it. So
I'm not upset about it, but I am a Roval fan just because I went to all of them except for the last one, so, you know.
Yeah,
I like the Roval. I feel like it probably did run its course, but it didn't deserve the amount of hate that it got. I feel like the shitty TV coverage that it always received didn't do it any favors, but I always enjoyed it in person. I saw some of my all-time favorite Chase Elliott moments happen at the Roval, and so I don't have anything against it.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're definitely not wrong about the television coverage, but you just confirmed it. Anyone who went to that, I heard it was just such a unique experience. And such a cool way to see NASCAR. Again, I'm not a big road course guy, you guys know that, but at the same time, like, to get that up close to the cars and have those unique viewpoints in the infield and being able to see the entirety of a road course is something that doesn't exist anywhere else in the sport. So I understand the pros, but I'm definitely excited to get what I assume is going to be a 400-miler at the back on the big track.
Yeah.
I am disappointed that there's not a road course in the Chase now, though. I feel like there should be at least one type of track.
I agree with that.
In the Chase.
I agree with that.
Maybe they'll alter that for next year's schedule. But I mean, I'll say this as someone who, not to shit on the Roval that much, I went to the only time I've been to Indy for NASCAR was, or Indy at all, was for the 2021 road course race, and I actually really enjoyed that. So I guess I understand where you're coming from, saying it was a good time live. But again, when the Oval is putting on some of the best racing in the entire series, like, how do you deny that? That's the hardest thing. So, but yeah, I'm with you guys. They should have another road course in there. So I'm sure they'll sort that out for 2027.
Watkins Glen, baby, make it happen. Come on.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Move it out of fucking March or whenever they're having it.
So the Dodge Ram.
Speaking of road course racing,
the Dodge Ram reality show came and went. I didn't watch a second of it.
I didn't either. I thought Rob watched it.
Well, I watched the first episode, and then my body experienced it, but for the most part, I was asleep on my couch when it was on TV.
Okay.
So
I only saw the one clip that kind of blew up on Twitter of Chris Rice.
When he was talking to Tanner Rice.
Child. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll start with positives here. Again, I didn't watch the whole thing. A lot of great drivers in this. New England was well represented, and Mike Christopher Jr. and Austin Beers. Was stoked to see them out there, and they both handled themselves pretty well. Carson Ferguson was out there too, and in my opinion, he should have been the guy, but ended up being Mini, which no one knew about. No one on this show knew about that in November. That's for sure. Yeah. And we certainly didn't announce it on the show months ago. That's for sure. But, yeah, the racing, especially the Legends car stuff in the first episode, I thought was really good. It was kind of cool to see the guys I watch up here at Stafford and Thompson pull some of the same moves against some pro late model guys and Trans Am guys. You kind of forget how unique some of the ways they'll roll the bottom. It's just a way they'll handle a modified. Like, you don't see that in other forms of racing, and I guess you just kind of get used to it. But Mikey Christopher was pulling out some big dog shit in the Legends cars and in the go-karts too. He was stomping them there. But that's just about where the positives run out for me. Yeah, Chris Rice he's an interesting guy, isn't he? And I don't know,
a nice way to put it.
I don't know if that's actually how he is as a person. I don't feel like he was really turning it on, but again, it is reality TV, so maybe. But just the fact that he went out there and said that all 5 of these cars are equal, and then Tanner Reif speaks up and goes, "Nah, the 10 and the 12 are terrible." And he gets dressed down for that, and it turns out he was actually right. But that kid ended up being kind of a dick anyway, so I don't know. I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be, and I probably will go back and watch a little bit of it again just to see it wrap up and see how many got it. Like I said, I do think Mikey and Ferguson got screwed a little bit from what I gather and from what I've seen, but whatever. Minnie Terrell has got the seat, and he's going to be running his what would you call it? What do you have to do? Not qualifier, but you got to prove that you can handle a super speedway by running an ARCA race of all places. So you got to really show him that you're ready to die for this, and he's doing that in the colleague Ram Trucks Chevrolet. Whenever they're running the ARCA race. So that's weird shit. But if you've been following along at home and you've been watching entry lists, Minnie was already on the entry list, and I think there was one other guy who was on the show that's also there. I can't remember who it is, but you can kind of put it together who won based off that alone. But yeah, I don't think that colleague realized how they were going to come off looking when they did this show. Because they don't come off as the most likable team you've ever seen. I'll say that. But
yeah, they really, like, 2020, 2021 were great years, and it's been very much downhill ever since for them.
They talk about trophy hunting, but then we still got Ty Dillon out there. And then we're letting Mikey Christopher and Carson Ferguson go. But whatever, I think everyone on that show, for the most part, has a pretty serious future ahead of them. I mean, Mikey's already run some truck races. Austin's definitely got his toe in the water there. This is the first time that Carson Ferguson has ever run anything on pavement, to the best of my knowledge anyway, or at least on a short track level. I could be wrong about that, so listeners correct me if I'm wrong, but this is definitely not where he comes from, and he definitely showed a lot of promise, and he's fucking fast. So yeah, a lot of future stars in this show. And Minnie as well. I mean, Minnie's a great driver, so we'll see how he does this year, and stoked for him. He seems like a good kid. I've never really heard a bad word about him, so I guess we'll see.
I did one thing I'll say is I did see Landon Huffman talking about how it wasn't really brought up on the show itself, but like in the house there was like no TV, no phones, no internet. Yeah. Which, like, as someone who loved the real world, like that's what they did back then. Like they wanted the cast to interact with each other, which makes total sense, but I can't imagine what that's like now in 2025 when like everyone is just so connected to everything, and
15 bored guys in their 20s.
Yeah, like how does that work?
What a nightmare.
But yeah, right. I won't tell you not to watch it. It wasn't my favorite, but then again, I don't know if it's necessarily for me as a demographic. But kudos to Colleague and Ram for trying something different, or at least bringing back a concept from, the 2000s, because Roush did this too. And even if it does seem like it was a little bit predetermined, in my opinion, it's still pretty cool to watch. And like I said, you'll be seeing some of these guys later on.
Speaking of TV, right now, NASCAR is having its own week on the Wheel of Fortune. I haven't watched any of it, but I know a handful of drivers are going to be on it. So if you're a wheel watcher, you're probably enjoying that. And then some more good news. The Weenie 500 at Indy is back again. That did really well last year. People seem to love it. And, it was a fun watch, so I'm sure I'll check that out again.
They ought to have the Weenie Mobile as part of the Ram chase for the seat, or whatever the fuck it's called. That would have been a real test.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got some IndyCar news and some controversy to talk about. So
this is a really good section of notes, by the way. The transitions are seamless, going from the Weenie 500 into
Epstein files.
Perfect.
So
I tried.
The first little thing is, Tim Cindric is back with Penske after being let go for a year. What the hell did he get fired for again?
Cheating.
Oh, I know it's cheating, but like what happened? What part of that was like what happened?
It was an
I
illegal
forget.
attenuator on one of the Penske cars. So
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
And then they went and found the same attenuator on the winning car that was in the IMS museum. So yeah, Tim had to be the guy to fall on the sword, and was it
I got
his?
him stitched back up.
Yeah, he
Just
seems
flipped him right back on in there.
pulled the sword right out and set him right on top of the box. I mean, let's be honest. Like, did anyone really think he was going to be gone for good? Like, he's Penske's right-hand guy.
Yeah.
Like, send him on vacation for a year and come back, and everyone will have forgotten about it, except for us, because I remember the shit out of that. All right, so it was announced last week that Donald Trump signed all sorts of executive orders to get the first ever IndyCar race in downtown Washington, D.C. in August, the Freedom 250. Of course, his buddy Roger Penske was in the Oval Office with him. Now, look, I will agree with many other people, including Rob, which we were talking about this before the show started, that yes, in theory, this is a neat idea. You know, I've been to DC a handful of times as an adult, and it's a very cool place to visit. And yeah, a race there would be neat. But I've also seen lots of people say, well, can't we just be happy this is happening? Like, can we just ignore all the political bullshit? I'm like, no, I'm sorry, we can't. Definitely can't. The country is falling apart as we speak. Trump should be in jail. And this is just another thing that he's doing to distract people, especially his base. I mean, the Trump camp is not totally stupid. They have to know that the motorsports crowd is one of the handful of crowds that is still clinging to them. So this is another way to cater to that audience. So yeah,
The
no, I
IndyCar
can't.
comments were not fans.
Yeah, I don't think people are as
pleasantly-
excited about that as you might think. But
Well, I'm saying motorsports in general, not necessarily IndyCar people, but motorsports fans in general. And I'm sure NASCAR probably, I can't imagine NASCAR was approached, but maybe they've kind of learned their lesson to stay away from that shit. And, you know, Rogers, Trump's buddy, so works out great for all of them.
I mean, yeah. Rogers made a lot of deals with the Trump administration, and you know, I mean, a lot of presidents for that matter. He goes to the White House a lot, but yeah, he's one of these guys who kind of, you know, plays it to suit his business. And like you said, I think it's a cool idea. I mean, the 250th anniversary of the country. I think having an IndyCar race is part of that. I mean, there's a fucking IndyCar on a quarter. You know, like it is part of American history. I just wish it wasn't going to be so weighted. And you know Donald Trump. He's a showman who likes to prop himself up and show off, and we'll get some cool flyovers. And I do want to go see this if it's actually free. I'm not a big fan of street races, and it's just a short train ride down short, 6 hours. But you know, I'd take an Acela ride down there for a free race. But I just don't know if I want to deal with that. And I mean, it seems like it's gonna happen. I mean, this has been in planning for months before the executive order, from what I gather anyway. And so it's not like, even though it sounds like it's not like Trump woke up and was like, let's have an IndyCar race and just like got the pen out. They've actually
It sounded like that.
It really felt like that a lot.
I feel like
Well,
maybe he didn't
let's-
know about it for months, and
Maybe not.
he
Yeah.
found out about it the morning of. But
And again, like we're about 7 months out from this happening, and depending on what level of planning they're at. And again, this is just I asked around about this, and it takes a lot to put on a street race. So
And
we're kind of
we
getting
should
down
also-
to it, you know, like they are going to have to repave everything down there, depending on how big the course is. You know, they're talking about running it past all the monuments, which would literally have a 6-mile street course, which they're not going to do that shit. But there is federal funding behind it, it seems. So who knows? I mean, if the federal government's involved, does that make things better or worse? I don't know. But I
Well,
don't know.
they had to do the government. They had to have the government involved because there were so many hoops that had to be jumped through. That's why Trump signed the executive order, because
Right, yeah.
so many
I'm
things
just
had to
saying,
be pushed through.
even with that, when you have the federal government involved, that's the level of bureaucracy that'll make your fucking head spin. But yeah, again, it's a cool idea, but it's just it's a shame, and it's a gamble for IndyCar to do this. based on how divided the country is at the moment, and especially with what we're about to talk about. I think some other minds are changing about however you feel about the man's politics. There's some other shit that Donald Trump seems to have been involved in that is kind of souring people here. So,
well, also too, every single event that Trump has tried to do in the last how many years, they're all massive failures compared to what he talks them up to be. And they still haven't even done this UFC show that they're saying they're supposed to have 100,000 fucking people. Where are they going to put it? You can't fit 100,000 people on the fucking front lawn. Like, doesn't make any fucking sense. Like,
well, he did tear down that ballroom, so that had to clear up some space.
I guess, but
White House Rising.
This seems like such a massive overtaking when our government is collapsing as it is that I don't have much faith in it. Like I said, in theory, cool event, but I guess we'll see what happens in a few months. But anyways, on to Epstein files news.
So what would this be without a quick thumb through the pages of the Epstein files? Seems like every corner of the world has a connection to this, and why wouldn't motorsports? And of course, my favorite mention in here was, of course, Kurt Busch. Not for the reasons you'd think. Apparently, if you search Kurt Busch's name, he pops up exactly once, and it's from a list in an email that was circulated between Epstein and somebody else about the 10 most hated athletes on planet Earth, and Kurt Busch was on the list. So, can you imagine getting the text like you're in the files, like being like, "What the fuck?" and then searching and oh, wait.
It is probably the funniest way, one of the funniest ways to be in the most controversial document of all time, 100%, I would say.
Yeah.
But one person that nobody was surprised to see in there was Brian Vickers. I mean, we all know that he was married to Epstein's essentially third in command for many years. And again, no shock to see him in there, but I would say maybe some of the things that were in there were a little bit surprising just because, people seem to think he didn't really have much actual involvement with Jeffrey, but that was very much not true. Yeah. I mean, they had done real estate business together. Epstein actually went to the 2013 Texas race, same race where the guy killed himself in the infield, and Kyle Busch won, so he was there for a Kyle Busch victory. And there's also some dealings where in 2013, Aaron's was considering sponsoring Brian with Michael Waltrip Racing. But at this point, Epstein's, sexual crimes are already kind of getting out there, and the connection between Brian and his wife and Jeffrey was also out there.
He'd already been convicted at that point.
Yeah. But I mean, he still wasn't as big of a name as he is now. But regardless, Aaron's was definitely nervous about this, and so was Michael Waltrip Racing. So there was communications between the team and Jeffrey and Vickers' wife, and there was also Vickers shared a weird limerick with Epstein that was kind of gross. And also, only months before he died, quote unquote, killed himself, Vickers sent Jeffrey Epstein like a happy Valentine's Day email to him or something in 2019. So, yeah, not good. No. I don't think we'll be hearing from Brian again. I think he's gone forever.
Yeah.
So
you can also piece together from this that Vickers was in cahoots with Epstein before he ever met his wife. He actually met his wife through Epstein. So. I was surprised to learn that. And also a article from Maxim from 2011 got dug up in regards to this too, that talks about Vickers' pursuit of pussy and how often he staggers home with women in multiples. So.
Well, we can't call the episode that, can we?
No.
No, unfortunately not. Can't call it that.
Yeah. But, Michael Waltrip's involvement seems to be purely, who knows how much they knew. Doesn't really matter.
Well, in one of the emails, it says that they explained it all to Michael, and that Michael verbatim said he's okay with what Brian has done on a personal level. He was just worried about
That should shock nobody. That should shock nobody that Mikey was okay with that.
Yeah, at worst, he's a guy who just wants to make sure his race team has money. It's not the most moral stand to take, but I guess I understand it. And Mikey, winding up in the files.
There also seemed to be in the files some kind of connection between Alex Bowman's Microsoft Windows sponsorship and Epstein.
Oh, I missed that. Interesting,
yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it's, again, like, everybody who is a billionaire is kind of tied into that. Like, there's not many of them. So, and Microsoft, Bill Gates and all that shit. So, kind of makes sense, I guess. But, yeah, not ideal. Guys who did not make the list, Dale Earnhardt was not on the list. Who else wasn't in there? Richard Petty did not make the list. Let's see. Who else? Anybody else didn't make the list? Tony Stewart wasn't on the list, amazingly.
Stewart wasn't. Jimmy Johnson was.
Jimmy Johnson was. That's right.
Yeah, Jimmy and Jeff Gordon were both in there.
But yeah, they didn't seem like they were anything other than just people that were around. But yeah, Dale not on the list. I don't think we could expect that anyway, but just had to clear his name real quick. So yeah, good news. And Scott Bloomquist was not in the list either, so I'm safe.
All right, well.
And none of us were on the list either, just to be clear. So you can continue to listen to this show with a clean conscience.
In completely different news, the CW is going to be. So they already had this like bar set up at some races last year, and I guess they're going to do it at. Is it every Xfinity race or Xfinity?
20 races.
O'Reilly's race.
They've really expanded it this year.
I'm trying to think. I feel like I was around one, but I know you weren't you, True Love? Like near one of these bars at a race?
I think I walked by the one in Talladega, but I have not ventured into one. The one this year looks like they've really expanded it, and they were blasting some Nirvana Dance Club remix, so I don't think I'll be hanging out there.
Yeah, it's very fan zone.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of
but
shit.
Good for them. I'm sure someone will hang out there.
Somebody will hang out in there for sure.
Somebody will. I mean, maybe I'll stop in to see Jamie Mack, but not for long.
Is he bar backing?
Maybe.
That'd be cool.
We'll see.
He's not in the files either.
Thank God. Was Casey Kane? I doubt it.
Let's look it up.
No, he was not.
Let's look him up.
That could be a new segment. Just we let the fans pick a driver or a personality once a week, and we'll go through and we'll see if they're in the Epstein files. Oh man.
Moving on to some on-track news. So we all remember last year Joey Logano's infamous webbed glove during. Obviously, it was one of the fucking plate tracks, but. Yeah, sure. One of the three plate tracks. He had a webbed glove out the window. Well, not only did NASCAR say no webbed gloves, they said don't put your fucking hand out the window, dipshit. No, anybody who puts their hand in that spot between the window net and the actual like frame of the car, I don't know what the penalty is. I'm assuming your qualifying time gets thrown out or something.
Ooh, you go to the back
is no
of the
longer
field.
allowed. Yeah, so
I don't totally understand this.
Seems silly.
This seems
petty.
kind of unnecessary. Like the only thing I can think of is the visual aspect of that you can just drive these cars with one hand, which you fucking can at a plate track, especially on a qualifying lap.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just I don't really understand this. I think it's stupid. And qualifying is kind of pointless at a plate race anyway. So let's let them stick their hands out the window. You know, I'm on team hand.
Me too.
Okay. All right.
You like that? Huh?
Team Hand. That could be the name of the episode.
Team Hand. Not in the episode where we talk about Jeffrey Epstein. Not this one.
So NASCAR's Hell Yeah promotion like fully rolled out this week with a bunch of different commercials. One that ran during the Super Bowl that was it was neat. I would say it was definitely one of the better concepts, way better than the other one. Zane Smith had Friday references and Caitlin Larson shotgunning beers and all sorts of other random shit in it. So that was neat. Yeah. And then they also did something which I think is kind of stupid. They tried to set the Guinness World Records for the world's loudest billboard by like basically putting a fucking engine on a billboard in Times Square, but the billboard wasn't even off the ground. Like I saw people standing in front of it, which is very funny. Kind of negates the purpose of a billboard.
And it was just engine sounds played through a speaker and fake smoke pouring out of it. It wasn't even. They could have done a real engine. Give us something cool.
But they did get the record apparently. So congratulations to NASCAR and the PR team. And Ross Chastain got to smash a watermelon, which is not something he's gotten to do since the Coke 600 last year. So I'm sure that felt good for him.
20 people standing around who could not give a single fuck about anything that was going on.
They're all trying to get to the M&M store. That's all they give a fuck.
Just watching this guy smash fruit, and they have no idea why.
So non-race fans are just as confused about it as race fans. That's good to know. Yeah, I like this ad campaign. I thought the 2-minute ad they put on YouTube or wherever the fuck it didn't air during the Super Bowl. I think they just dropped it around the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
Clint Eastwood's son, whatever his name is.
Yeah, it's corny, but it does everything it needs to do. I've never seen a NASCAR ad actually sort of capture the spirit of the whole thing, or at least how I imagine it anyway. And I think they did a great job. And is that going to convert people? I don't really know. Ooh, Steven Kopchik just got in the wall. Sorry, I'm trying to watch two things at once here. But I don't really know if it'll work, but I think this is the best attempt they've had in quite a while. And I'm here for the Hell Yeah campaign, at least for now.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get real sick of hearing Hell Yeah by the end of the year. And I love saying Hell Yeah, but this is going to ruin it for me.
Yeah, you're going to have to stop saying it.
That's fair.
We'll see.
Well, speaking of ads, in one of the Facebook groups, I think the Daytona infield camping one or something like that, there was a gentleman, probably in his 60s or 70s maybe. Mm-hmm. Do you have the ad? Does one of you guys have the ad pulled up?
I don't have it pulled up, but I wrote down what it said. It was just a mature single guy camping in the infield all week. He has a new, beautiful redwood fifth wheel, and he's looking for a single woman to simply hang out with. He's got on his pink Hawaiian shirt. He's got on his white sunglasses.
Like a single woman, as in like one woman, or just one who doesn't have a boyfriend?
I don't know. Just a single woman.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy fucking rules.
Best of luck to Glenn.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to shoot your shot, I guess.
Dog's got to eat.
Shooting it in the Facebook group.
Yep.
I'd love to find out the results, but I'm not going to send this guy a DM. So if any one of you listeners out there want to reach out to...
Maybe we'll get Andy Newsom to track him down. He's there. So.
Yes, that's a great idea, actually.
All right, well, you can take this one, True Love, because it's about your family history at Daytona.
Oh, yeah. So this is just something that I just wanted to share for funsies since it's Daytona week. And I don't think I've talked about this before on the show. Maybe I have briefly, but I know I've talked about it on, like, Instagram before. But just a fun little family history fact of mine is that my granny's cousin, who I don't know the technical term for what he is to me, but he was my granny's cousin, so his grandparents would be like my great-great-grandparents. His name is Swain Pritchett. He came from a family of moonshiners, but he was the 23rd driver to ever obtain a NASCAR license. So,
no kidding.
Yeah. So he drove it was a blue and white Ford number 17, and he was quite successful around the racetracks in Georgia. But in 1947, when Bill France Sr. was putting together the NCSCC, which was like the precursor to NASCAR, they raced at Daytona with that series, and Swain raced on the beaches of Daytona in 47, and then I think he finished 17th in points that year. And then the next year, when NASCAR officially started in 1948, Swain was a member of that season. So he finished 6th on the beaches of Daytona that year, and then he finished 4th at North Wilkesboro that year, and he was in 5th place in points until he won a race in Jackson County in Georgia. And on his cool-down lap, collided with a lap car and was killed. But just a fun little piece of my family history of having a member who raced on the beaches of Daytona and had one of the first ever NASCAR license, and was kind of set up to be one of the early stars of NASCAR if he hadn't passed away so early. But he is in the Georgia Racing Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And his name is on some paperwork that's in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. So
I think I remember you taking a look at that when we went.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at him right now
It's,
here on the Georgia Racing Hall of Fame website. That's incredible.
yeah. So if you go to the NASCAR Hall of Fame, there's a little section upstairs where there's like all those statue men standing around a circle. They're supposed to be like Bill France and some of the pioneers.
Yeah.
There's a little display case next to them that has the results of the 1948 race at Daytona Beach, and his name is on that piece of paper, finishing 6th that day. So
That's incredible.
just a little piece of Daytona family history I wanted to share, since I don't think I've talked about it on here before.
Well, I ain't got nobody in the Hall of Fame, so that's pretty fucking cool, man.
Very cool.
Yeah, I remember stopping over in that section with you, but I was so hungover that I don't think I registered what we were doing at that point.
That's fair.
Well, speaking of Daytona, it is the big weekend. When you're listening to this, well, if you're listening to it on Wednesday, practice is at 10 o'clock, which who the fuck cares? I mean, it's Daytona practice. There's not really going to be a whole lot to report there probably, but I'll probably have it on MRN. And at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, or Wednesday night, whatever. Pole qualifying, as always, the top two, the front row is set, and then the rest get set on Thursday in the duels. I think there are, 44 cars entered for 40 spots.
47.
Technically 41, I think, because Jimmy Johnson. But a few cars are going to go home. Hopefully one of those is Corey LaJoie, but we'll see.
Also entered is Justin Allgaier in the Junior Motorsports Chevrolet. Not as pretty of a car this year, I don't think, but still like to see him do well.
And our man BJ will be there. Hopefully he makes the field.
Yeah, 45 cars going for those spots. So, and who was the other rando there? Oh yeah, Jimmy Johnson's locked in.
JJ Yaley's entered. Corey Heim also. I feel like there's somebody we're missing, but
Casey Mears?
Beard.
Yeah,
Casey Mears, and then Anthony Alfredo in the Beard car. So I think those are all the open cars.
Stout field.
Let's see.
Yeah, definitely nice to see the entry list grow kind of one at a time. Back in the day, we'll talk about this at the end of the show as well, but, they used to draw 60 cars, 70 cars to this thing, and it's kind of, to me, put a little bit of a damper on the proceedings that you kind of already know who's in the race, and it's cool to see the field start to expand a little bit. I think that's a great sign.
moving on to Thursday, as we mentioned, the duels will be at 7 o'clock, I think, on Thursday. And also after that is going to be the yet another Dale Earnhardt documentary. This one, I don't know if we mentioned it last episode, but it's supposed to be about the impact of Dale's death in the greater motorsports world, it seems like, which at least is a different angle to take. They're not going to talk about the actual wreck itself so much, but more how it affected people within the motorsports world. And of course, Frankie Muniz is going to be in that because he was one of the last people to talk to Dale Earnhardt that day.
True.
So,
yeah. It's also the most camera time he will get all season.
Probably.
So,
yeah.
Gotta get it where you can. Yeah, I don't mean to be that guy, but I just don't. I failed to be that guy. I failed to see the need for more documentaries about the 2001 Daytona 500. I think we got it covered, but I will watch this whether I like it or not. I'll probably watch it when it's on TV, and then I'll watch it 4 or 5 more times this year during rain delays. So.
Well,
and I will enjoy it. God damn it.
I have to imagine this is the last one because what the fuck else is there to say about this?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the 25th anniversary, so I get it.
That's true.
Maybe do another one at 50 when we're all dead.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right, so
I'm running the math in my head. It's pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty close to natural causes at that point.
On Friday night, we've got the Truck Series. It'll be our buddy and past guest Kyle Ayala's first time working an official race with Cletus's team, I believe.
Over the wall.
Over the fucking wall.
So what is his actual role like over the wall? Is he tire carrier?
I don't know.
Don't know. Maybe they don't even know yet.
Yeah, I don't think the 4 is a full-time car. And I don't know if he's going to be an over-the-wall guy all the time, but it doesn't matter. He gets to do it at Daytona, which I know that means a lot to him. I can tell you that. I mean, we've had Kyle on the show before, and he shared his story. And the last time he was on here, he was pretty much a DARF just like us, and now he's suiting up and on the roster, going to be doing something for arguably the second most popular driver in the field. So no pressure, bud. But we're all real proud of you, and we'll be pulling for Cletus in that race, if just for Kyle to maybe bring home something. What happens when you win a
even
truck
Brian
race?
will.
Yeah, even Brian. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but let's be real, guys. I mean, yeah.
It's a truck race, man. You never know.
Truck race.
I guess that's fair. I was trying to think. There was I was looking at like auctions the other night, and there was like a win diecast for Timothy Peters in a truck race. I'm like, who the fuck is Timothy Peters? This was like 6 years ago.
Red Horse Racing.
Okay, so yeah. So
Speaking of auctions, I meant to ask you. Did you ever win that Denny Hamlin?
The face mask? No, it went for like $130, and I was like, I'm not paying that much for that.
That's a lot.
I got enough dumb bullshit. Yeah, for people who aren't in the know, there's one of the used racing collectible stores on Facebook was auctioning off Denny Hamlin's COVID mask with his own face on it that he won, I think, Richmond with, and put it on in the car, which I thought it was a very funny moment. And if it went for like $50, I actually thought it was going to go for more than $200, but even $130 was way out of my price range for some bullshit like that. But anyways, that's Friday. Saturday, we got ARCA and the O'Reillys series, and then Sunday, and of course,
What's Sunday?
Rain is in the forecast.
Yep.
Right in the middle of the day,
Sundays
right around the start time.
Sundays when we get to watch the Dale Earnhardt documentary for the second time.
Yep. I mean, as of right now, it seems like they'll probably still be able to get it in, probably on a few hours delay, but who knows? We'll see what happens.
It's Florida, man. It can change on a dime.
Yeah. We'll see.
You don't
So,
remember
yeah,
Timothy
I guess-
Peters? He won like a bunch of races.
I know. I watched that race, and I remember I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess it's time to dive into the septic tank.
Oh shit! Forgot about that. Yes, the septic tank, the segment that I prepare every week. Yeah. Gotta be perfectly honest with you guys. My brain is a wet sponge when it comes to everything that's happened. Of course, we're in the throes of Speedweeks down in Florida. They're running at Volusia. They're running at New Smyrna. We got NASCAR back. We had the Clash, X, Y, and Z. There's all Supercross is back. There's so much going on, and it's been too long since the last episode, so I'm definitely going to miss some things, and I'm not going to run through all the results for every fucking B-mod feature we had at Volusia over the week. Although, shout out to Kenny Wallace. He did pick up a win or two over the course of the week, so that was cool. Also, shout out to Nick Hoppin. He brought... There's, I don't know how many of his elite chassis were there, but they did very well for themselves out there. And that was cool to see. And Nick's a good guy, and Elite makes good race cars, so good for them. We'll start off at New Smyrna here. Of course, that's in progress right now. In fact, we just got to watch Carson Brown win the Clyde Hart Memorial. That was pretty cool. A little ASA race. I think Carson Hocevar got a top 5 for all you NASCAR fans out there. Seemed like a pretty decent race, but a lot of giant wrecks, which seems to have been the tone of things at Five Flags so far. But let's back it up to Saturday night. Of course, the NASCAR Wheeling Modified Tour kicked off their season. 40 cars on the entry list. That's a huge list for that series, especially coming off last year when you were seeing like 18, 19 car fields, even up here in New England. So it was awesome to see 40 down there. Completely packed grandstands and a pretty decent show as well. Justin Bonsignore picking up the win. Had some pretty good battles with Austin Beers, and Ryan Preece was up in the mix for a little while. He got kind of screwed on a pit stop and lost track position. I don't know if it's Joey Coulter's fault, but he definitely pulled into his pit stall like a dickhead and blocked Ryan and had to back him up, and that made me mad. So I'm going to blame the fact that Ryan got stuck back there in the top 10 and not challenge him for the win on a Joey Coulter. Thanks, bud.
How many F-bombs you think you said?
Oh, God, there was... By the way, he was trying to burn his way out of that pit stall. You can tell there was at least 3 or 4 of them, which is still not as many as the Clash interview. So good for Ryan. But, yeah, decent run for him. He'll be running all week in the Tour Modified division at New Smyrna. Also, probably the scariest thing I've ever seen happened during that race. Sammy Rameau, not my favorite guy on the planet, or no one's for that matter. He's got quite the reputation. But he kind of lost it coming off turn 2 and looped it around, parked it right at the bottom. Surely no one's going to come screaming through there. A full 7 seconds pass, and then, what the fuck was his name? Mike Marshall comes screaming in there in the fucking grimace-looking purple-ass car and just clobbers him in the door. Sammy has a concussion, obviously, because he got hit with a modified at full speed. 15 other cars managed to make it around him, and somehow he didn't. I don't really understand that one at all. Maybe his spotter was checking his fucking DMs, or maybe he's trying to hook his boy up in the infield, looking for a single lady in the RVs over at Daytona. I don't know what was going on, but very, very lucky that Sam was able to get out of there under his own power, and I mean, he's out for the rest of the week with a concussion, so that is some brutal shit. Well, speaking of Ryan Preece, he just picked up a win at New Smyrna, so you can add that to the tally right there. That's 2 in the past business week, so that's good. But yeah, Justin Bonsignore picking up where he'd want to pick up from after last year. Not his finest year in 2025, and I think he's probably ready to sort of put that Xfinity season or part-time season he had behind him a little bit and really focus on the modified tour here. I think he might be running a couple truck races, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But definitely back in monster form so far. And shout out to Justin for getting that win. Also, Paulie Hartwig III picked up a win in the Tour Mods on Monday night, and that kid's still 14 years old. I feel like the last time we talked about him was a year ago, and he was 14 then too, so I don't know how that math works, but he's certified 14, and he beat Ron Silk and the best in the business down there, so that was super fucking impressive. Very cool to see him and his family celebrate.
He's kind of got a little Guido-ish name.
Yeah, he's from Jersey.
Okay.
Paulie Hartwig. I think they're Riverhead Wall Stadium guys, so yeah, that's to be expected. But of course, his dad, probably most recently well known for that interview where he was crying in Victory Lane or I think he came in 3rd in the race, but he didn't win. But He was crying because it was his last race because he was quitting his own modified program to focus on his son because he was so good and he was so proud of his kid. And that effort seems to be paying off because Paulie's clicking off wins all over the place, and you're going to be hearing a lot about him in the next few years. I can assure you that much. On the super late model side of things, Jade Avedissian got to know Spencer Davis pretty well this weekend as he came down from Miami into turn 2 and just completely cleaned her out and proceeded to blame her for the accident, even though she was literally like a full county away from him, and said something to the effect of, well, there's a lot of people learning out there. What do you expect? And apparently she learned pretty quickly because she picked up her first career super late model win the following night. Jade is a badass. We all know her from midgets, and she's kind of transferred over into the pavement world, running late models and probably with a track to get into NASCAR. She's tied in with Toyota, and she's doing all the right things, that's for sure. She's been fast all week. And, yeah, a win's a win, and that was a pretty impressive one. She dick stomped him, no question about that. Over on the dirt side of things, which is what I paid a little bit more attention to, of course, everybody and their mom was over at Volusia for the Dirt Car Nationals. Last week, the the American Sprint Car Series, the big 360 series that World of Outlaws own, had 3 nights there. Tyler Courtney reminded everybody that he hasn't forgotten how to drive a race car since almost getting ripped in half at Eldora last year. He picked up 2 wins and the championship for the weekend. Also, Brady Bacon picking up a win in a 360. That was cool to watch. The World of Outlaws did kick off their season there as well. Buddy Kofoid and Anthony Macri getting wins on, I think it was Friday night. There was a pretty big incident between David Gravel and Logan Schuchart, which, of course, I'm a big Shark Racing guy, so no matter what happened, I'm going to be on Logan's side. But David Gravel definitely very much faded down into Logan, and it was his fault 100%, in my opinion. And you can watch the video and make that decision for yourself. Bias or not, but I'm not a big David Gravel guy in this house. But yeah, that was on David, and David proceeded to get pretty chippy about it on the mic, which, you know, that makes me mad. So, but we need someone to boo once in a while, and David Gravel's that guy. I'm sure he'll get plenty more wins this year and put up a fight for the championship. But yeah, congrats to Buddy Kofoid in particular for getting a big win. Not a Macri guy either, so Buddy was really the only shining spot in there. But I got to say, the sprint car racing this past week has been absolutely incredible. I've been hearing people refer to this as looking a lot like the old Volusia, lots of varied lanes. It doesn't rubber off the way it has in years past. Not a lot of like freight train kind of shit going on, but just like a lot of grooves and a lot of really intense racing, and it's been awesome. And that's really carried through all the divisions. The World of Outlaw late models are also there. Chris Madden, Hudson O'Neill, and Timothy McCready. That's right, Tim McCready, T-Mac, picking up a big win, building off the momentum from last season to open his World of Outlaws Not Real American Beer late model campaign.
Oh, speaking of Real American Beer, not only are they out of racing, but Hulk Hogan is no longer going to be used in their marketing. So, yeah,
it's true. Yeah, yeah. Hulk Hogan is also not available for marketing either anymore. So. Oh man, but yeah, there's they just kicked off the rest of the late model program, the Dirt Car Nationals, last night. I forget who won. I'm sorry, no, it was Brandon Overton picked up a win. That guy's so fast right now in that beautiful Budweiser number 76. Probably the best looking race car out there. And I expect him to continue that. He also picked up a big win at the Screven Winter Freeze. And I don't know how to say Screven.
Screven? What?
It's in Georgia.
What kind of made-up word is that?
Is it Screven? Is it Screven? I've never said this word out loud, so I apologize.
I've never seen this word.
I know there's a couple of people out there, particularly Kim Bob and James Honeycutt, who were both at the race. They're probably going to school me on how to pronounce it, but sorry. You know, I don't know how to say this. Screven. But yeah, Brandon Overton.
It is in Georgia, isn't it?
Yeah. Sure.
That's South Georgia. I don't claim South Georgia.
But that is a badass racetrack, I can tell you that. I'd like to get down there at some point. But yeah, Brandon Overton showed him how it was done. And I'm pretty sure he won last night too, but don't quote me on that. I fell asleep on the couch for that one. So again, lots of racing to talk about and to remember, and I don't know. There's so much. It's a tough week for me, so keep me in your thoughts and prayers. One random note before we close up the second tank here. Of course, Ty Majeski, speaking of all the super late model action that's going on right now, he just released his schedule for the year. Of course, he's got a full-time deal in the Craftsman Truck Series, and he chases championships and wins and all that. But he also has a pretty full super late model program. But noticeably absent from the schedule this year is the Snowball Derby, which I'm sure he feels he got screwed out of last year, even though he jumped the restart twice. But he doesn't look like he's returning to Five Flags this year to defend the title he feels like he should have had, which is kind of sad. He's a ripper, so. But yeah, I guess we'll see if he changes his mind. But that's one big name that you probably won't see down at the Derby this year. And with that, I know I'm missing 1,000 things. Sorry if I missed the thing you wanted to hear me talk about, but there's a shit ton of racing on Flow Racing and on Dirt Vision this week. Again, the Dirt Car Nationals continue on through the weekend, as do all the proceedings at New Smyrna. The Richie Evans Memorial coming up in a couple days here, and just a full slate of all sorts of asphalt racing, and it's all very good, and I recommend this is why you pick up a Flow subscription or a Dirt Vision subscription. It's for these weeks where there's just shit happening every single night in the entire world. Heads on down to Florida. Oh yeah, also USAC is running right now. Logan Seavey picked up a win last night, so good for him. But that's the septic tank, and we'll go ahead and flush it down.
You didn't even mention the big block start tomorrow too, Super Dirt Series.
That's right,
so.
The big blocks. That's what I'm saying. Everybody is down there. Like, if you want to get a full sampler, I'll say this: if you haven't branched out into short track racing, you don't really know what you like, you don't really know what does it for you, etc. And you have access to a stream of Dirt Vision or Flow, or you have an account, or you want to bite the bullet and get one, this is a great week to do it. You can kind of get introduced to the entire world for this week leading into Daytona. And It's just, as a race fan, there's not many weekends or weeks I look forward to more than this one, to have so much going on, all the way from little B-mods at Volusia on a Wednesday night, all the way up to the Daytona 500 on Sunday. It's a fucking festival, and if you got nothing to do but sit on your couch and watch super late model kids wreck each other, then god damn it, this is you better do it. So if I come across any special secret links, just ask. You wouldn't know if I found one, but ask me if you want to watch something, and I'll see what I can find, and I'd be happy to send that along to you, because you need to experience some of this stuff. And again, you don't get to see all these multiple worlds kind of cross paths with each other very often, and it's great entertainment. So that's it for the short track septic tank, and I'm just about out of speaking gas here. I cannot articulate. I think it's time for another beer, and we'll go ahead and flush this thing down. Pipes are freezing out here. Shit.
Well, I thought I was doing the right thing by posting a Busch Clash video to coincide with the Clash last week, but kind of got screwed up a little bit with a delay. But regardless, we're going to talk about the 1990 Busch Clash here. What's funny about this, and maybe I'm diving too deep into what I wanted to talk about right now, is this entire broadcast was a half hour. The whole thing, start to finish, a half hour, compared to 3.5 hours for the past Clash. And,
the actual race itself was less than 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
So.
But let's see. So starting off this broadcast, I found one that had a little bit of everything, because this one had the commercials and everything. It was actually 36 minutes, but it had a nice this little time capsule intro. Apparently this was All-Star Sunday on CBS with a bunch of different sports happening, and the Busch Clash starting off the day. But we got a little news break to start with the NCAA in Miami, and then talking about the Buster Douglas versus Mike Tyson fight in Tokyo. There was some controversy there. So just, again, nice little time capsule to start the broadcast. But we start off with Chris Economaki introducing the race. And again, this was when it was still Speedweeks, because he mentions the 24 hours to Daytona, mentions pole qualifying. Ken Schrader and Dale Earnhardt were on the front row that year. And as Ashley just said, and Chris himself said, from green to checkered flag in less than 15 minutes. We hear from Ken Squire, who says it's been windy and kind of rainy all day, but, they're ready to go. We see a very funny pit walk with Chris Economaki. Funny in the sense that he is just blasting through these guys. Like, so he asks a question, and the guys are barely finishing answering, and he's already walking on to the next guy.
Yeah.
He totally skips Morgan Shepherd. He just mentions him roller skating and walks right past him. I just thought it was very, very funny.
What did he say to Davey Allison? Hey, Davey, how you doing? Kids could use your new pair of shoes, huh? Or something like that.
He had just had his daughter, and then he goes up to Jeff Bodine, and Jeff asks Chris if he wants a ride, and Chris doesn't recognize him without his beard. We get Greg Sachs, who is in the Cole Trickle's City 46 car, which apparently was the quote-unquote R&D car for Hendrick Motorsports. And this was, back then, they were doing wild cards. So they'd have one driver in the race that didn't win a pole. I guess they, had some sort of, pill draw or something to get that. And then Jimmy Hensley was there in Rob Moroso's car, which was very interesting to me because what happened was there was like a hurricane or something, the Martinsville weekend in 1989, and Earnhardt couldn't get there. So Jimmy Hensley qualified the car for him and got the pole. So that's why he was in the race, which is very just weird, but interesting.
This felt like the original Mikey's Grid Walk.
It was.
Yeah. You get Ned Jarrett there. He's explaining restrictor plates. And that brings us to the first commercial break. We get an ad for Kellogg's Product 19, which was a cereal that was actually in production until 2016. I don't think I've ever even heard of this in my life because, granted, I was not eating adult cereal when I was a child.
I've had Product 19 before. At my grandma's
I feel like
house.
my mom used to eat it when she was trying to lose weight or something.
It is a bizarre name for a food. Like Product 19. Like, what the fuck? Okay. We get our first of like 16 Budweiser ads. Maybe the best one, I think, out of all of them, where these guys just walk into a warehouse, start airbrushing the walls and turning the place into a bar, and then they dump a bucket of paint, and then all these girls come up on the dance floor. So that was a cool ad.
That's
then
how it
we
works.
see
It's a documentary. Yeah.
That's it, yeah. We get this Goodyear ad with a bunch of champion drivers, which if you watch any race from the 90s, you're going to see this ad because it's in all of them. And then one for...
It looked like a Olin Mills ad at first.
Yeah. And then we get an ad for the Ford Thunderbird. We're back at the track. Mike Joy is with DW and Stevie Waltrip. DW is basically going to be a kind of a pit reporter for the day, kind of give an insight throughout the race, which, again, it's only a half an hour, so whatever. There's only 9 cars in this field. We get Jimmy Hensley, Greg Sachs, Ken Schrader, Bill Elliott, Jeff Bodine, Alan Kawicki, Rusty Wallace, Morgan Shepherd, Davey Allison, and Mark Martin. Both Alan and Mark Martin had 6 poles in 1989. Start the race, and the Hendrick cars are on the front row, and immediately, as soon as they cross the start line, Jimmy Hensley just goes right backwards. We later find out his shifter broke, which, that'll fuck up your start.
Yeah, that'll happen.
So, yeah, basically, Greg Sachs leads the first 2 laps, and then Schrader leads the rest of them. The interesting point, probably the most interesting point in the whole race is on lap 5. Like, Kenny, there are bonuses, I think, on lap 5 and 10 for like $5,000 and $10,000.
Lap
Kenny
5 is $10,000. Lap 10 is $15,000. Lap 15 is $20,000.
There you go. And Kenny wanted to get all these. So on lap 5, he passes Sachs, but they run side by side for almost a full lap, and this allows Bill Elliott and Davey Allison to kind of creep up, but they really don't go anywhere after that. Like, it's more or less a 4-car tandem. for the whole 20 laps. Davey was able to go from last to third with drafting help from Jeff Bonine. The second commercial break, we've got FTD Florists, a Bud Bowl instant replay with some bottle-on-bottle violence, and then NCAA championship game. Back to racing. Kenny gets one of those bonuses, as Ashley just mentioned. Basically, Greg Sachs is more or less running defense for Kenny the whole time. DW doesn't think the Fords have anything for the Chevys. I mean, he's still driving for Hendrick at this point. And he even says that Jeff Hammond, because DW's pit crew was doing pit duties for Sachs that day, even though there's no pit stops in the fucking race unless you get a flat or something. But he even points out that Jeff Hammond probably told Greg to lay off and let Kenny lead. There's a little inset video where Mark Martin, Davey Allison, and Morgan Shepherd are asked, what spot would you like to be on the last lap? Both Mark and Davey say first, and then Morgan Shepherd says third because he's like, oh, well, there could be an air pocket if those guys get together, and that's when you get your chance to pass. Going in the final lap, Greg Sachs makes one little move in turn 2 to try to move up the track and get momentum to try to pass Kenny for the win, but that does not happen, and Ken wins his second straight Busch Clash. A couple more commercial breaks. The Goodyear ad again, another Budweiser ad with the Clydesdales, and then one for Ford Escort. Chris says this is the largest ever crowd for the Busch Clash, but when you look at the grandstands are nothing compared to what they are now. There's only the one big tower and the one big tall grandstand, and the rest of them are all just short ones. So, I mean, I don't know what the numbers were back then, but, probably still close to six figures, you would think. Kenny's very happy to win, but he says Sunday is what counts. And they also ask if I think it would have been a bad career move if Greg made a more aggressive move for the win, but he says that Hendrick, that doesn't matter. We're all on the same team, and whoever wins, wins. This is probably the best ad break, the last one. We get one for Ford Trucks. We get a wild ad from Napa where it's a dude driving his truck, and he slams on the brakes to avoid a dog that's wandering around in the middle of this big field, and he just so happens to stall his truck in the middle of train tracks, and there's a train coming, and this guy's like desperately trying to start his truck to get out of there, because parts in your vehicle matter. So
it's true,
especially in moments like that. Then we get one for Bic Razors with this guy just pulling on his nose and chin to try to get try to get all the spots he needs to get. And then another Budweiser ad. This one is not as good, but in the same vein as the first one. These two guys are working at an office, and one of them puts a picture of like a beach on the wall next to the elevator, and then they open the elevator, and they're just at the beach. That's all you got to do, apparently. Is just, spray paint your bar and, tape a picture to the wall and make it to your vacation destination.
That's how I got married.
Drink enough beer, you can see anything.
Now that's a fucking slogan, true love.
And then to close out the broadcast, we see Chris Economaki sitting on the hood of Ken Schrader's car in Victory Lane and pointing out the new Chevy Lumina, which had debuted halfway through the '89 season. And Chris says this may be the car of the decade. Well, Chris, this car lasted 4 years. It was done in 1994, so it was not the car of the decade. But yeah, that's the broadcast. And before we get into the conversation that I wanted to have, what did you guys think?
I thought this was cool. I said this before the show, but I think it's worth sharing again. This is a nice little sort of sampler of what the longer kind of classic video of the week segment or submissions we've had have been. Sometimes you really got to dig to get like the extra content, the commercials, the weird little interviews, the little asides, just stuff you wouldn't normally get to see, and you get it all in about 30 minutes here. Even though the race was kind of whatever, this is kind of a nice little sampler of what that whole playlist that Brian has put together looks like. So it was nice that it wasn't 3 hours, I'll say that, especially with only like 8 cars out there. And it was certainly took a lot less of my day than this year's Clash did. So I thought it was great. What'd you think, True Love?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much what you said. All the little in-between stuff and the stuff leading up to it, and the commercials were cool. The race itself, I mean, you basically blink and it was over, but definitely refreshing difference between watching this and then what we watched on Wednesday, lengthwise.
Yeah, so I guess that leads into what I wanted to say about this is, so, granted what the Clash is now, I'm not going to say it's bad for the sport or anything. I mean, I think they've tried to do some interesting things with it over the last few years and, different venues and all that. But going back to what the Clash was, I mean, you look at the field, there's only 9 cars. It's the 9 guys that, well, technically 8, but, the guys that got poles last year were in this race. It was very short. It was only 20 minutes. It was part of the entire spectrum of Speedweeks. It wasn't just its own standalone thing. Yeah. And, I know people want the Clash to go back there, even though the ratings were bad and, this, that, and the other reason why not to bring it back. But to me, I guess it just harkens back to how Speedweeks used to be so much more important, or at least felt that way. And the fact that, again, you had all the fans there to see this, and it was only a half-an-hour race, but you just look at how much the Clash has changed in the last 20 years, and, there is a big part of me that just thinks it should go back. And just go back to this. Like, why does it have to be this big spectacle? Why does it have to have everybody involved? Like, why can't it just be the guys who actually won the fucking pole? And why can't it just be one little component of an entire week or 2 weeks of racing? Like, that to me is, again, it's an old man comment to make, but there's simplicity in this that you're in and out, and it's done, and we're moving on to the next thing. And instead of what the Clash is now, where it's basically just, it's almost like a alternate all-star race, But
exactly, yeah, exactly. And I agree with pretty much everything you just said. I think the problem with the Clash now is that it's a brand without any sort of real identity.
Yeah, and
that's what it had back in the 80s and 90s when it was connected to Speedweeks. It made sense in that context. But now, and again, like, Speedweeks is a shell of what it used to be as well. Like, everything means a little bit less. There's fewer cars, there's less on-track time. I mean, you could literally do exactly what you do at the other plate races throughout the year at Daytona, and you get the same show. There's not that many cars to qualify. They ran heats because there were so many fucking cars that showed up to make the show, and we just don't have that anymore. So, like, over time, it's kind of whittled into this thing where we have the tradition, but we don't really have the backbone behind it anymore. And I think the Clash is the really unfortunate victim of that. And I like the concept of the event of what it is now, but like you said, Brian, I feel like it's just kind of the all-star race, is it not? Like,
yeah, basically.
Can't that just be the all-star race? And I think all the ideas that NASCAR has come up with are great. I thought the Coliseum was cool, and I think that's a great way to introduce the sport to people who would normally have a chance to do it. Some folks aren't going to drive out to Brooklyn, Michigan, or the Poconos, or to Loudon, New Hampshire, or all the way down to Daytona, or wherever the fuck they go, And I think it's a great idea to take it to places that would normally get it and utilize that concept. But it's still not the Clash to me. And I don't think you can just slap that name on whatever event you want and have it have any meaning with the diehard fans anyway. So I enjoyed Bowman Gray. I don't mind them doing that. I wouldn't mind if they did it at fucking Five Flags. I wouldn't mind if they went back to the plate race, even though I think everyone's just going to bitch about that too. But I do think the most important piece of this is they do need to shorten it, and they need to make it way more exclusive than it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that would fix it.
I enjoyed racing at Bowman Gray, but I don't need to watch racing at Bowman Gray in fucking January or the beginning of February.
Right.
Make it I said this last week. Make it the All-Star race, because we don't need the All-Star race at Dover.
Yeah, what are we
no
doing
one
in
wants to
fucking
see
Dover?
that either.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like Bowman Gray, the All-Star. I don't know what to do about the Clash, but like Rob said, it just needs to go back to pole winners or whatever.
Yeah, whatever parameters you want to set for. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be 3.5 hours long. And I liked what they did in this race with the bonus money on certain laps. Bring that back.
I agree.
So.
Yeah.
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 Cool. Well, we're all olds
Simplicity.
and we all agree.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to wheel back to the nursing home in a second here.
Cool. Well, so the videos of the week next week, I got 2 of them. First up is, while we're in the middle of the Winter Olympics, you know, I'm sure there are plenty of us that know this, but there's probably some that don't. Jeff Bodine has been heavily involved in the Olympic bobsledding team since the 90s, and he's even in the bobsledding Hall of Fame.
Yep.
So I found a little, it's only 7 minutes long. It's a little mini, like, history of the Jeff Bodine bobsled team. So we're going to watch that. But also, so one thing we didn't mention about the Clash is back up until the mid 2000s, I think, there used to be something called the Winston Cup Preview. Mm-hmm. And basically this is just an event where drivers and cars would show up somewhere in downtown Charlotte in like a big convention center, and there'd be autograph signings and everybody's teams would be on display, and you could buy merch, and there'd be auctions and all sorts of stuff. And this past year, there actually was a very small one at right near Bowman Gray, and it wasn't really advertised that well, but apparently it did very well. It was very well received, so it'd be cool to see that come back. But what I found was a fan cam of the 2003 Winston Cup Preview.
That's cool.
It's about 50 minutes long, and I think it's just one guy sitting in the stands for this whole time. But I skimmed through it real quick, and there's some interesting stuff in there. So I thought that'd be a fun thing to watch.
He's talking out loud to himself the whole time.
Yeah. There's old Earnhardt's car right there. You see it?
Well, this was 2003, so I don't know if Earnhardt's car was there.
People are dumb, Brian.
So yeah, those are the videos of the week. I think I already put them on the playlist, so they should be up there. But yeah, none of us will be at any tracks this weekend. We'll all just be on our couches watching the races and drinking drinks. So I'm assuming that's what a lot of our listeners will be doing. So yeah, if you haven't joined our fantasy league, go ahead and do that, and I'm sure we'll be interacting with you on social media the next few days.
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. So, as always, you can follow us on Instagram at Meet Me at Applebees. Same thing on YouTube. I am Speedway Screens on all the things. SpeedwayTSJ.etsy.com is the shop. And MMA Applebees at checkout for 15% off. But I will be running a sale this weekend that'll be more than 15% off, so you won't need it this weekend.
Still Snake Mountain _ True Love. I'm only going to throw the underscore in there this one time in case people need to DM me about the fantasy league, because there's a hard cutoff line for that.
That's right. Yeah, y'all better get signed up fast, because it's filling up. And it's going to be fun this year. I'm really excited for us to be doing this. Rob Motes _unofficial is my handle on Instagram. My band's called These Wild Plains. I got nothing to plug, but I do want to shout out all the homies down in Daytona. Of course, Josh Davis, Andy Newsom, all the crew I was hanging out with it in Tulsa. Josh Davis's dad, Charlie's going to be out there, and a whole mess of other people. Of course, Kyle Yala on the clock working for Nice. Really, really wish I was down there, and the FOMO was going to be very, very serious this weekend. But safe travels.
Ross is down there serving up food right now.
That's right. He's on the clock, too. That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, really wish I could get down there. Gonna have to do Speedweeks one of these days, but obviously not this year. One thing, I do have to offer a correction from last week. We were talking about the Hardee's returning to the sport to sponsor Bubba Wallace. And I brought up, has Hardee's sponsored anyone recently? Or I forget how I framed it, but I forgot to mention the Cale Yarborough car. And I don't think my phone has gotten that hot from all my friends and people that listen to the show than telling me about how I forgot about the Cale Yarborough Hardee's car. So my apologies. I was thinking modern, and I forgot about the famous one. So my bad. I know who Cale Yarborough is. So.
I think someone commented on our post about the Hardee's sponsored car in that god-awful movie that we watched last year.
Yes,
Right.
there was one in there. Yep.
Yeah. Still not the most famous one, which we neglected to mention. So we know. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Cool. Well, with that, looks like the check is here. So thanks for joining us again at Applebee's, and we'll talk to y'all next week.